Listen to Business Made Simple wherever you get your podcasts. All right, Fire Nation, we have a lot to get to today, so let's dive right into our June 2022 income at a glance. Our gross income for June was $176,198. Our expenses were $14,896 for a total net profit of $161,302 for a difference between June and May of negative $64,009. However, our percentage of net profit to overall gross revenue was at 92%. So anytime we're in the 90s, it is a good month. And we have some cool things to talk about. Like I mentioned in the pre-intro, we're going to be bringing our CPA on fire, Ron, to talk about future-proofing your business for uncertain times. So Ron, take it away.
Hey, John, and hello, Fire Nation. Hey, this is Ron Parisi with CPA on Fire for your June 2022 tax and accounting tip. Hey, as we see from John and Kate's income report, EOF still continues to crush it. But, John, you wrote a piece last week about sort of the uncertainty. We're hearing a lot of chatter with maybe some uncertainty in our economic situation going forward. And I thought it would be a really good time to talk about how to future-proof your business for uncertain times. And as I advise my clients, right, we specialize in online entrepreneurs who are particularly growing, scaling their businesses. Each business cycle has its opportunities. So it's not the time to sort of batten down the hatches, but it is a time to really do a check on your business. And I'm going to give you 4 items today to sort of go back to and look at your business. And I think it will really help you navigate the waters ahead. Nobody knows really what's going to go on in the future, but I think this is a good time to sort of check in with the financials of your business to help you future-proof your business. One, as we saw, in the beginning in 2020 with COVID, it was extremely important to have your financials current. A lot of entrepreneurs, unfortunately, caught themselves in a position where they didn't have accurate financials, had difficulty taking advantage of some of the government programs, had difficulty really adjusting to sort of the new economic climate. So number one, let's keep your financials current. What I think is every month you should have your, within the first, 10 days of the next month, everything should be done. Your P&L, your balance sheet, maybe even the cash flow analysis should be done. You should know exactly where you stand financially through the past month. So number one. Number two is your cash position. And I'm not just talking about signing on to your bank and figuring out what your current balances are. Of course, that's important, but really having what I like to see a rolling 12 months going forward of your balances. So if you're buying a piece of software that renews in 3 months and it's going to be a cash lay of 5 figures, you have that anticipated in those balances going forward. So what type of cash that you have to deploy on new opportunities, maybe get through some bumps in the road. So always be mindful of your cash position over, projected over the next 12 months. Number 3 is budget. And what I like to talk about is budget is you've created a budget for year end or for the year. You've maybe done some course correcting, but allow that budget to be dynamic. And what I mean by that is have it be changeable and to have different inputs. If sales comes down, if maybe your conversion rate comes down, what exactly impact does that have on, your bottom line? How can you sort of affect your bottom line, maybe with less spending, with your both labor, with marketing, with other costs. So having a budget that can be changed and be dynamic, super important as potentially you go into some rough periods. And then last, I really find like when I work with my clients one-on-one, super important we're all entrepreneurs. Not every day is an easy one, but I really find the exercise of like writing out your plans, documenting it, whether you type it up or journal it. And that's just, if X happens, this is how we're going to approach it. If Y happens, this is why we're going to approach it. And just getting it, out of your head on paper, knowing that you have a plan for different scenarios. I can't tell you how much that's really helped my clients, just react quicker, better night's sleep, just feeling more prepared. So just to wrap this up, John, and Fire Nation, let's future-proof your firm. 1, keep your financials current, hopefully on a monthly basis. 2, know your cash position on a rolling 12 months basis. 3, have a budget that's dynamic, that's changeable. And 4, write out your plans with maybe some foreseeable scenarios to allow you to be prepared when it does happen. And again, this is Ron Parisi, CPA on Fire. John, always a pleasure being with you. Fire Nation, wish you the best of luck. Until next time, thank you very much.
Ron, thank you as always for rocking the mic. Much appreciated. And Fire Nation, as mentioned, cpaonfire.com is where you can learn more. Email Ron at cpaonfire.com for all your questions. Now let's move into our interview of the month with Austin Netzley. I've known Austin since back in 2013 when I launched Fire Nation Elite, a mastermind on fire. And Austin was one of the first 50 people to join my mastermind. I can still remember chatting with him in my old apartment in San Diego and seeing if he was going to be the right fit for this mastermind. And we had a blast. And he's gone on to do amazing things. And our interview together was all about how to create a 7-figure business without working 60+ hour work weeks, because we know nobody really wants that. And we put the top 3 value bombs on the income report, eofire.com/income106. And one that I want to highlight here today is that systems make things much more repeatable, consistent, and not reliant on you. So we really dive into that topic as well as many more. And so if you want to check out the value bombs, go to the income report, make sure to go search Austin Netzley, that's Netzley, in either your podcast app or our website to listen to the full episode, because it was an awesome one. It was one you definitely want to go back and listen to if you did miss it. And before we get into the next topic, which is our vacation to Yosemite and San Francisco, we're going to take a quick break to thank our sponsors. There's so much power in the technology we use today, but figuring out which software is best for your business and how it all works together can be overwhelming and time-consuming. If you're ready to streamline your workflows so things like customer support, employee onboarding, and even your marketing strategy can start working for you, then you need Zapier. Zapier makes it easy to connect all your apps, automate routine tasks, and streamline your processes. One big way Zapier has helped us is in streamlining our communication and follow-up with our online course members. And it's super easy to use. You can connect over 4,000 of the most popular apps you're probably using every day already, like Google Sheets, QuickBooks, and even your task management software. No wonder over 1.8 million people and businesses use Zapier to streamline their work and find more time for what matters most. See for yourself why teams at Airtable, Dropbox, HubSpot, Zendesk, and thousands of other companies use Zapier every day to automate their businesses. Try Zapier for free today at zapier.com/fire. That's ZAPIER.com/fire. As an entrepreneur just starting out or looking to scale up, it can be tricky to know which advice to follow. And if you've been thinking about making an online course part of your business, the Thinkific Trends Report is one of the most important things you'll read this year. The team at Thinkific analyzed the top 20% of creators to discover what they're doing differently to make them so darn successful. In this report, you'll uncover why top creators are 2 times more likely to use communities, 3 times more likely to sell courses and bundles, plus learn why it's time to say goodbye to the hard sell. I can say after reading it that this report is chock full of insights you can immediately put into action today, because if you're still creating courses the same way you were 5 years ago, you might be missing out on some big opportunities. Discover which trends are powering the most successful creators in 2022, what their secrets are to growing their business, how they focus their time, and much more. Visit thinkific.com/fire trends. That's THINKIFIC.com/fire trends. Customer expectations are at an all-time high, and making things easy is how you'll win. If you can accomplish easy, you'll turn one-time customers into lifetime customers. So how can you make things easy for your customers? It starts with knowledge, like having a 360-degree view of how your customers have interacted with your business in the past, what their buying preferences are, and how likely they are to become a repeat customer. But how do you gain these insights? With a HubSpot CRM platform, that's exactly what you'll get. Easy-to-use tools that give you and your teams the full picture of your customers. Just one example of how powerful having that full picture can be. Well, HubSpot's intuitive payment tools allow you to help your customers have a seamless purchase experience. With full access to payment data, your teams get the full customer story, meaning they can provide the best possible service. And with directly embedded payment links, your customers can quickly and easily purchase and pay from emails, live chats, and more. Learn more about how HubSpot can help your business grow better at HubSpot.com. Fire Nation, we are back. And as I mentioned in the intro, Kate and I also took an amazing trip to Yosemite National Park in San Francisco at the end of June into early July. And we're really excited to talk about this. But guess what? You've been hearing my voice a lot. You haven't been hearing Kate's. So Kate, you've been hanging out very patiently. Say hello, say what's up to Fire Nation, and talk to us about our trip.
What's up, Fire Nation? Excited to be on the mic with you again this month. And oh my goodness, did we ever have a blast in Yosemite and San Francisco. Northern California holds a pretty special place in my heart. I spent a lot of time there growing up, and I went to University of San Francisco for my first 2 years of college. So it was really fun to be back up in the Bay Area, and oh my goodness, did it ever deliver. Yosemite, if you haven't been to Yosemite, please put it on your list. This is like one of the most naturally beautiful places I have ever been. And you guys know that John and I travel a ton, so that's saying a lot. We spent 3 full days in Yosemite at a beautiful Airbnb, which I must say, we usually camp, and I love camping, but it was so nice to have a hot shower, a comfy bed, and a kitchen. That was such a treat. Plus, we were traveling with, 4 other adults and 3 kids. So there were 9 of us total. We got this huge Airbnb cabin, which was just epic. And to all be able to stay together and wake up together and have dinners together and do happy hour together, for me, that was such a big part of the overall experience. So that was super great. The hikes that we did, oh my goodness, these kiddos were such troopers. We spent 2 days in the valley. So we had 3 days in Yosemite overall. 2 of them were in the valley. We did Vernal Falls the first day on the Mist Trail. Oh my goodness, we could not have asked for better weather that day. We hit Mirror Lake after that. And so that was our first day, is Mist Trail to Vernal Falls. We hung out at the top there, went to the Emerald Pool, went to the bridge beyond that. And then we did Mirror Lake that afternoon. John, of course, found a rock to jump off from that looked like you definitely should not be jumping off from it.
And then by the time we left, all the other kids were jumping off of it.
And we have a picture to prove it too. So definitely head over to eofire.com/income106. You will see John tempting all these children to jump off this rock. But wow, what an epic backdrop. Holy cow. So that was day 1. And then day 2, we did Lower Yosemite Falls, Columbia Rock, which was such a tough hike. And we were all a part of that. And then myself, John, my sister, and our friend Scott, we kind of broke off from the crew because we were really, really determined to do Upper Yosemite Falls. And we knew the kiddos probably wouldn't be in for that. It's a good thing we broke off. That was a tough hike. It was also one of the better hikes I've ever done in my life. What would you say, John?
Definitely up there. I mean, the switchbacks were pretty grueling, but the end result was outstanding. There was actually a little natural cold plunge at the top of Upper Yosemite Falls that we all jumped into. That was very refreshing and enjoying. And man, it was definitely a life experience.
Refreshing is the word. Brr. We also made stops at Wawona Swinging Bridge, which was off the beaten path and a really, really cool spot. Of course, we had to bust the Frisbee out and play a little bit of Frisbee. And there was almost like this, it was a natural rock slide, really. And so a bunch of kids had tubes and they were tubing down this natural rock slide area, like down into the river. And so the kids got to do that, which was a really nice, unexpected treat for that. And we went swimming. Did you jump off the bridge there as well, John?
I actually did not jump off that bridge. Just seems a little too tight even for me, so I passed.
Good call. Good call. I did watch a couple other people do it, and usually that is about the time that you go do it as well. So I'm glad that you didn't, because they were definitely playing navigator to figure out where they were jumping into.
Yeah.
We also stopped at Artist Point, the Ahwahnee Hotel, which was a super cool hotel right in the valley, designed and built in the 1920s. It had a really incredible history. We walked around that. We got to see these fireplaces like I've never seen before. Just the decor and everything about that hotel was really, really cool. It did feel like you were stepping back in time. And then, as I mentioned, we did spend 3 days in Yosemite. So that third day, we actually went hiking in Mariposa Grove amongst the giant sequoias of Yosemite. And I was so heartbroken to read just this past week, John. That area actually completely closed now due to fires.
Oh, wow. I did not hear that.
Yeah, so hopefully they have that under control now, but very grateful for our timing and being able to have that experience. It was just a really meandering pathways and walkways. We did decent hiking that day. I mean, we probably walked about 7 miles or so, and just seeing all these different epic sequoia trees was really puts your size into perspective. Well, that's a wrap on Yosemite. I'm happy to dive into San Francisco. Anything to add on Yosemite, John?
No, I think you absolutely nailed it. It was just splendor all the way. I mean, natural wonder. What was crazy to me is driving up from Fresno is like you're looking around, you're just like, man, this is the most boring landscape in the world. It's just like desert, dry, nothing, flatness. You're like, I can't imagine we're anywhere close to something that is supposedly as special as Yosemite National Park. And then you just get blown away when you actually drive into the valley. It's stunning. There's a fantastic picture of myself and Kate underneath both upper and lower Yosemite Falls. And if you look at that at eofire.com/106/income106, you'll see at the top of Yosemite Falls, the very, very top of it, we hiked all the way to that actual point where the water's coming out of the rock. And we're literally almost able to lean over and touch that water at this one area up there. So crazy pictures over on the income report, eofire.com/income106. It kind of really gives some pretty amazing grandeur. Although, of course, you have to be there to really have your head popped off, but this does about as good a job as possible. So I think that can wrap it up on Yosemite, but I will say absolutely stunning.
I mean, that pic of us in front of Half Dome is pretty insane.
Insanity.
All right. So definitely make sure you head over and check out those pictures. So from Yosemite, we actually made a quick stop in between to visit some family friends. We did a day in Sonoma, which was super cool. Really cute little town. Enjoyed walking around there. We got to visit the mission there, which was really neat, and had a great lunch. Beautiful day. And then we made our way into San Francisco, and holy cow, we did so much stuff. We saw so many things. Anyone who's been up to San Francisco before knows that it's like tourist paradise because there's 7,000,000,001 things to do. And we took full advantage of that. We said goodbye to our friends and their daughter, Janelle, Scott, and Ellie. And we said hello to my parents. So it was myself and John, my sister, her husband, my niece and nephew, and my parents. And we did a stop in Berkeley. We went into the city. We ran across the Golden Gate Bridge. We went to a Giants game, and it was Giants versus Tigers. And my brother-in-law is from Michigan, so that was kind of fun. Great game. The Giants ended up pulling it off 3-2. It was a really fun evening and a great way to kick off our time in San Francisco. The following day, we did Alcatraz, we did Pier 39 to Ghirardelli Square, and obviously ate a lot of ice cream. Yum. And then the next day, we did the cable car, the Ferry Market building, which they have really like rehabbed that big time. I think we saw on the outside of that when they actually opened that up the way that it is now, John. Was that just in 2019?
I do not remember seeing that, but it was quite a nice experience.
Maybe it was earlier than that. It's probably been around for longer than that, but it certainly was not like that when I was going to school up there. The Ferry Market building is now filled with this incredible market, like not a farmer's market, but cute little shops and great bakeries. Coffee was awesome. I had a pain au chocolat. Oh my gosh, it was incredible. Lots of yummy stuff. So we walked through the Ferry Market building, had some great food, hopped back on a cable car. We went to City Lights bookstore and perused that for a bit, which was great. We went to USF to check out the campus, which took approximately 5 seconds. And then we made our way across the Panhandle over to Haight, and we went up to Haight-Ashbury, made a stop in Amoeba Music, and oh my goodness, we walked our booties off. Every day that we were like actively on the trip and not like a travel day, I think we crushed at least 25,000 steps. And so we really just like went all out for this trip. We had such a fantastic time. I couldn't think of a better trip or better stops or better things to do. Anything. Oh, and then our final day, actually, John and I, my family left, and John and I had a final day together in San Fran. So we actually went and checked out the Sutro Baths, which were once insanely like well built and beautiful set of baths, like a public bathhouse that you could go to. I actually have a picture of what it looked like when it was a functioning bathhouse. And now it's just complete ruins right up on the Pacific Ocean. And it's pretty crazy to look at this picture of what it used to be and think that that's what we were walking on, because it was just so utterly not like that now. But that was a really cool day. We actually did that and then walked all the way up through Golden Gate Park, which was really beautiful. We had a lot of nice stops on park benches and a great meal, a great breakfast at this place called Outer Lands. Oh my goodness, yummo. And that wrapped the trip for us. Then we were headed on back home to Puerto Rico to see our sweet little Gussie Poo.
Good old Gussie Poo. I mean, you did a great job breaking down our whole trip. The only thing I'll say is I was kind of shocked at how freezing cold San Francisco was in July. So just forewarning, if you think you're going to California in July for some nice warm weather, San Francisco is not the place. San Diego is, but San Francisco is not the place. More of like, I guess, September timeframe, they start to really warm up, August, September. So interesting fact about San Fran, it was super cold. But again, I want to encourage everybody to head over to eofire.com/income106. These pictures that Kate posted are incredible. And Kate, before I get into the income breakdown, any last thing you want to add?
Nada.
Cool. June 2022 income breakdown. Product service 163,011. Our total journal sales were 87. We did 35 Freedom Journals, 21 Mastery Journals, and 31 Podcast Journals. Pretty even across that board. Podcasters Paradise brought in just under $14,000. Podcast sponsorships brought in $122K. Appearance fees about $25K. Our affiliate income was over $13,000. ClickFunnels itself was over 11K this month, so a big month for ClickFunnels. And our expenses for the entire month were $14,896, and we list all those out so you can check them out. This is stuff that we think is worthy of paying for. And our total net profit was $161,302 for that 92% net profit percentage. And I just want to have Kate take us home with our biggest lesson learned: mental toughness.
I am a big fan of James Clear. And if you know James Clear and you are signed up to his newsletter, then you know that he does a newsletter called 321. He calls it the 321 newsletter. So each week he sends out an email that includes 3 ideas, 2 quotes, and 1 question to consider. And I love his newsletter because it isn't long, but it packs a super powerful punch. It's easy to get through. Every single week I walk away with at least one thing that I think on for an extended time. So I actually linked it up in our income report. So if you're interested in signing up to this newsletter, you could do so via the link in the income report. Again, eofire.com/income106. And in June, one of his ideas that really stood out to me was this. He wrote, "Mental toughness is often portrayed as determination and persistence, but it can also be flexibility and adaptability. I can be happy anywhere. I can work with what I have. I can have a good day with anyone. You are tough when your mood is not dependent on your conditions." Now, we all know that mental toughness is important, whether it's having the strength to battle your imposter syndrome, getting back up and trying again after a failure, or going back to ask again, even when the answer was no the first time. Mental toughness isn't something that comes easy, and I certainly understand that personally as well. That's why this idea really stuck out to me, though, and I hope that, like it did for me, it gives you something to think about this week.
Fire Nation, until next month, keep your fire burning. Still think you can create an online course the same way you did 5 years ago? Think again. Thinkific has looked at the top 20% of course creators to see what they're doing now to be so darn successful. Find out for yourself at thinkific.com/firetrends. Business Made Simple, hosted by Donald Miller, takes the mystery out of growing your business. Recent episodes like how to attract and retain top talent and how to make more money with your current products are straight fire. Listen to Business Made Simple wherever you get your podcasts.